want power. You want control. Then forget about motivation. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants, disappears when you need it most, and leaves you weak. The men who rule, the ones who bend the world to their will. They don't wait for inspiration. They force themselves into consistency. They bleed discipline into their veins until every action becomes inevitable. That's how everything falls into place. Understand this. Greatness is never built on how you feel in the moment. Feelings are for the masses. Fragile, impulsive, forgettable. You are not here to live like the masses. You are here to carve yourself into someone untouchable. That requires the cold, mechanical precision of discipline. Waking up when you don't want to. Working when no one is watching. Building when others waste time. Every single act of consistency, no matter how small, stacks power in your favor. The world only respects results. And consistency is the path to results that cannot be denied. So force yourself, forge yourself, break yourself, and build again. Comment right now. Discipline is destiny. Let those words brand themselves into your mind like steel against fire. The Machiavellian Foundation. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something most men will never grasp. The world is not ruled by fairness. It is ruled by strength, cunning, and perception. He knew that people are easily swayed by appearances, that loyalty is fragile, and that power belongs only to those disciplined enough to seize it, maintain it, and weaponize it. This is why consistency is your greatest weapon. It is the quiet, relentless force that makes you inevitable. Think about it. A man who acts only when he feels like it, who waits for the mood to strike, is a man destined to be forgotten. But the man who forces himself to act, to move forward, to work when he doesn't want to, he becomes a storm no one can stop. That man cannot be ignored. The Machiavellian mind thrives on strategy. Discipline gives birth to strategy, and strategy gives birth to power. When you force yourself to be consistent, you train others to rely on your strength while at the same time conditioning yourself to endure where others collapse. Consistency makes you predictable to yourself, but unpredictable to the world, because no one expects you to be that ruthless with your own willpower. And that unpredictability terrifies them. Listen carefully. People will always betray. Emotions will always mislead, and circumstances will always shift. But your consistency, that is the one thing no one can touch. It makes you reliable in a world of chaos. And reliability breeds dominance. When others stumble, you march. When they sleep, you sharpen. When they give excuses, you execute. Eventually, they look at you with envy, with fear, with respect, because you've proven you will not stop. This is the Machiavellian foundation to discipline yourself into such consistency that fortune bends in your direction. That's how you become untouchable. Comment this right now. Consistency conquers all. Let the weak talk about luck. You will build inevitability. The psychology of consistency. Consistency is not about force alone. It's about understanding the psychology of progress. The mind thrives on rhythm, and when you build consistent habits, you are literally reprogramming your brain to align with your purpose. Every action you repeat becomes easier, smoother, more natural. What was once difficult becomes instinct. That is the real secret. Consistency transforms effort into identity. Think about it. When you show up every single day, no matter how small the step, you are carving pathways in your mind. Those pathways build strength, and strength of mind becomes strength in life. This is why the man who practices consistency rises while others stagnate. He no longer negotiates with himself. He no longer questions whether he should act. He simply acts because action has become who he is. There is deep power in this. The strongest individuals you admire, athletes, leaders, creators, they are not born different. They chose to commit. They chose to remain consistent when others drifted. They knew that mastery is not achieved in one grand leap, but in thousands of small, disciplined steps. And through those steps, they built unshakable confidence. Consistency also creates trust. trust in yourself, and trust from others. When you do what you said you would do over and over again, you learn that you can rely on yourself fully. And when others see that, they recognize strength. They know you are steady, dependable, and unmovable in your pursuit. That kind of presence is magnetic. People respect it. People admire it. And here is the truth. Consistency brings clarity. The more you commit to showing up, the more focused your vision becomes. Distractions lose their power because your path is already set. You don't waste energy chasing impulses. You channel it into steady progress. This is where growth accelerates, where results compound, and where your future begins to fall into place almost effortlessly. So remember this: consistency is not punishment, it is freedom. It liberates you from indecision, from hesitation, from doubt. Because once you have trained your mind to act with discipline, you are unstoppable. Comment this phrase right now: I am built on consistency. Let it anchor in your mind because it is the foundation of everything you will achieve. Building the Stoic core. To build consistency, you must also build a Stoic core, a foundation of calm, controlled strength that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Life will test you. Unexpected challenges, shifting environments, pressures that break most men. But when you cultivate Stoicism, you are never at the mercy of the storm. You carry stillness within, a steady flame that refuses to be extinguished. And from that stillness, consistency becomes effortless because you are no longer controlled by moods or external noise. You act from principle, not impulse. The Stoics taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of them. If you train your mind to remain steady, to see clearly, then nothing outside of you can hold power over your actions. You understand that you cannot command fortune, but you can command yourself. That is the ultimate freedom. Self-mastery. Every time you remain disciplined in the face of distraction, every time you keep going when the world tries to pull you away, you are strengthening that core. You are proving to yourself that you do not bend. You endure. You adapt. You rise. A Stoic man does not chase approval because he already knows his worth. He does not need the world to clap for him because his consistency speaks louder than any applause. He does not collapse when others misunderstand him because he is grounded in purpose. That is the essence of cold, unshakable strength. You remain rooted in who you are, and no external force can uproot you. This kind of strength radiates. People sense it. They recognize the calm certainty of someone who is consistent, someone who does not break. They are drawn to it because it is rare, and in being rare it becomes powerful. You don't need to shout your strength. It is written in your actions, in your steady presence, in the results that inevitably follow. Understand this. Consistency without Stoicism can falter because emotion can tear discipline apart. But Stoicism fortifies consistency. It locks it in place. Together they make you untouchable. Imagine living with that balance. Disciplined action, unshakable calm, nothing could derail you. That is what you are building now. So, anchor this truth in your mind. Consistency and Stoicism are not just habits. They are your armor. They are the foundation upon which greatness is built. Comment this right now. Calm is power. Consistency is destiny. Carry that phrase with you and let it shape the man you are becoming. The discipline of daily execution. Consistency is not an abstract idea. It is built in the daily execution of your life, day by day, choice by choice, action by action. Too many men waste their lives waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, the right feeling. But those who rise, those who dominate know this. Every day is the right day. When you commit to disciplined action, you cannot control the winds of fate, but you can control your effort. And when effort becomes habit, nothing can stop your ascent. Daily execution begins with clarity. You wake with a plan and you follow it, not perfectly, but relentlessly. Understand this: perfection is not required, only consistency. Missing one strike does not end the battle. What matters is that you continue striking again and again until the wall in front of you breaks. Each small act compounds, building momentum that carries you forward. This is why execution matters more than motivation, more than talent, more than fleeting inspiration. Execution builds progress. Execution builds confidence. Execution builds results that no one can deny. Discipline in daily life is not glamorous. It is often quiet, unseen, uncelebrated. But it is here that true greatness is forged. Waking up earlier than you want to. Training when your body tells you to rest. Reading when your mind begs for distraction. Writing, building, working, even when no applause is waiting. That is discipline. And over time, those daily disciplines transform you into a force that cannot be ignored. Execution also builds respect first, from yourself. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you prove you are reliable. And that reliability breeds inner strength. You no longer doubt who you are because your actions prove it daily. And once you respect yourself, others will too. They will see your steady progress, your relentless pace, your refusal to drift, and they will know you are serious. Here is the truth. A man who masters daily execution cannot be stopped. He doesn't need to rush because he knows time is on his side. He doesn't need shortcuts because discipline compounds into inevitability. And he doesn't need external validation because his results will eventually silence all doubt. That is the power of execution. It makes victory a matter of time, not chance. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Create the moment. Live each day with purpose, structure, and execution. Build habits so firm that even on your worst days, your discipline carries you. That is how empires are built. Not in sudden bursts, but in steady, unbreakable rhythm. Comment this phrase right now. Execution is everything. Etch it into your mind because your future will be built on the actions you choose today. The power of patience and long-term vision. Discipline and consistency alone make you powerful, but when you fuse them with patience and long-term vision, you become unstoppable. Too many men burn themselves out chasing quick rewards. They demand instant results, and when the world doesn't hand them what they want, they collapse. But the men who endure, the men who rise above the noise, are those who master the art of patience. They understand that every day of consistent work is an investment. Each act of discipline is a seed planted, and with time, those seeds grow into empires. Think of the oak tree. It does not appear overnight. It begins as a small, fragile seed, something most would overlook, something easy to ignore. But with time, with steady growth, it becomes unshakable, towering, rooted so deep that no storm can destroy it. That is what patience does to your discipline. It roots it, it anchors it, it transforms effort into permanence. The mind conditioned for patience does not panic. It does not crumble when results come slowly. Instead, it trusts the process. It knows that as long as consistency is maintained, results are inevitable. This is why you must never confuse speed with progress. A man moving fast without direction achieves nothing, but a man moving steadily, patiently with vision, he cannot fail because every step he takes moves him closer to destiny. Patience also gives you clarity. When you stop demanding immediate gratification, you begin to see the bigger picture. You stop wasting energy chasing distractions because you understand the value of the long game. You know where you're going, and that certainty brings peace. Others will rush, stumble, burn out, but you will advance with calm precision because you are not trapped by time. You are aligned with it. Long-term vision separates leaders from followers. The average man sees only the moment. The wise man sees years ahead. If you want to be untouchable, cultivate that vision. Know where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Build habits today that serve that future. Every action you take becomes a brick in the structure of your destiny. And when others look back, they will realize what you knew all along. Greatness is not an accident. It is built day by day, choice by choice with patience and foresight. Understand this. Fortune favors not just the bold, but the disciplined who can endure. The man who can outlast, outwait, and outwork is the man who eventually owns everything. The Roman Empire was not built in a year, nor were the great works of philosophy, architecture, or art. They were the product of men who devoted their lives to the slow, steady march of progress. And you, too, must adopt this mindset if you want to rise beyond mediocrity. The power of patience also shields you from despair. When you expect instant success, failure feels fatal. But when you are committed to the long game, setbacks lose their sting. You understand they are simply part of the journey. Each one a lesson, each one a step, each one a test of endurance. And with patience, you keep moving, you keep building, you keep climbing, no matter how long it takes. So align your discipline with long-term vision. Wake up each day knowing that what you do is building something greater, something lasting, something unshakable. Let patience guard you from doubt, and let vision guide your path. Others will rush to chase shadows. You will remain steady, building stone by stone until your foundation cannot be touched. This is the essence of power. Discipline in the present, patience for the future, and vision that guides them both. Speak this truth into existence. Comment it now. I play the long game. Let those words define you, because once you commit to patience and vision, everything else will eventually fall into place. Mastery of self and environment. Mastery begins within. Before you can command your environment, before you can influence others, before you can build something great, you must master yourself. This is the unshakable law of life. A man who cannot control his impulses, his thoughts, his focus, is not free. He is a slave to his own emotions. But the man who commands himself, who directs his energy with precision, who lives with consistency and discipline, he is untouchable. And from that foundation of inner control, he shapes the world around him. Understand this. Your mind is your greatest weapon. If left undisciplined, it becomes your greatest enemy. But if trained, sharpened, and directed, it will serve you with limitless strength. Mastery of self means cultivating clarity. It means training your thoughts to align with your vision, not with distractions. It means refusing to let fear, doubt, or hesitation dictate your actions. Instead, you act with reason, with purpose, with calm certainty. This is the essence of Stoic power. You rule yourself. And by ruling yourself, you begin to rule everything else. The first step in mastering yourself is awareness. You must know your tendencies, your weaknesses, your triggers. Do not hide from them. Do not deny them. Face them directly, because only then can you overcome them. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It is about awareness and correction. Every day you observe yourself, and when you falter, you adjust. Over time, this constant refinement sharpens you into someone unshakable. The second step is discipline of action. Self-mastery is proven not in thought, but in execution. When you say you will do something, you do it. When you set a standard, you keep it. When you commit, you follow through. This consistency in action creates deep self-respect. And self-respect builds confidence. And confidence radiates outward, shaping how the world responds to you. But mastery of self is not enough. Once you command yourself, you must command your environment. This does not mean dominating others. It means shaping the world around you so it strengthens your discipline, supports your vision, and eliminates unnecessary friction. Your environment is either sharpening you or dulling you, and mastery demands you shape it intentionally. Control your space. Surround yourself with order, with clarity, with tools that serve your purpose. Remove chaos. Remove clutter. Remove distractions. A man cannot build an empire if his foundation is weak. So build your environment into an ally. Make it reflect your vision. Make it serve your mission. When your surroundings are aligned with your purpose, your consistency doubles in strength. Control your influences. The voices you allow into your mind shape your thinking. Choose carefully. Read books that sharpen your perspective. Listen to mentors and examples who embody discipline and greatness. Surround yourself with people who lift your standard, who remind you of what is possible. Do not waste time on those who drain your energy or distract you from your path. Mastery means you curate your environment with precision, as carefully as a warrior sharpens his blade. Control your time. Every day is a battlefield, and time is the most valuable resource you will ever command. The man who wastes it in distraction, in idle talk, in pointless indulgence, he is throwing away his future. The man who commands his time, who treats every hour as an investment, who structures his days with purpose, he becomes unstoppable. Schedule your priorities. Guard your focus. Treat your time as sacred because it is the raw material of your destiny. When you master self and environment together, you move through the world with unmatched force. People sense it. They recognize the steadiness in your actions, the clarity in your decisions, the discipline in your presence. They know you are not swayed by impulses, not weakened by chaos, not distracted by noise. They see a man who has built an inner fortress and an outer foundation. And that combination is rare. That rarity commands respect. This mastery also grants you peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on everything going your way, but the deep, unshakable peace of knowing you can handle anything. When challenges come, you are steady. When uncertainty arises, you remain clear. When difficulties appear, you adapt because you have trained yourself, and you have built an environment that supports you. This is true power. Not loud, not boastful, but steady and undeniable. And here is the greatest truth. Mastery of self and environment compounds over time. The longer you practice it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it feels like effort. Then it becomes habit. Finally, it becomes identity. You no longer have to think about being disciplined, about being consistent, about being intentional. It is simply who you are. And when it becomes who you are, there is no force on earth that can stop you. So remember this. Mastery is not a destination. It is a practice, a discipline, a way of living. Each day you refine yourself. Each day you shape your environment. Each day you build consistency into both. And in doing so, you are crafting a life of unstoppable momentum. Speak this truth aloud. Comment it right now. I master myself, and I master my world. Let that phrase define your standard. Because when you live with mastery of self and environment, the path before you is clear. Success is no longer a matter of chance. It is inevitable, and inevitability is the truest form of power, the strength of unbreakable identity. Discipline begins as an action. Consistency begins as a choice. But the highest level of power is when discipline and consistency transform into identity, when they are no longer
things you do, but things you are. That is the strength of an unbreakable identity. When your actions are no longer negotiable because they flow directly from the core of who you are. Most men live fragmented lives. They wake up as one person, speak as another, and act as a third. Their identity is fragile, easily shaken by circumstance, by opinion, by failure. They bend to the winds of life because they have not forged an inner definition of themselves. But you will be different. You will choose the harder road. You will forge an identity that is unshakable, rooted in discipline, aligned with vision, and reinforced by consistency. Understand this. Identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. A man may skip habits, he may delay goals, he may avoid effort, but he will never act against his true identity. If you tell yourself you are weak, you will live weak. If you tell yourself you are unreliable, you will find ways to confirm it. But when you declare with full certainty, I am disciplined, I am consistent, I am unshakable, your actions follow. Identity drives behavior, and behavior compounds into destiny. So how do you forge this identity? It begins with decision. You must decide who you are, and you must make that decision final. No negotiation, no hesitation, no turning back. Write it, speak it, live it. Every action from that point forward becomes an expression of that decision. When you say, I am a disciplined man, then waking up early, training, working, learning, these are no longer chores. They are affirmations of your identity. They reinforce the man you already know yourself to be. The second step is alignment. Your words, your actions, your environment, your habits, everything must align with your chosen identity. You cannot say you are disciplined and then live in chaos. You cannot say you are consistent and then skip the actions that define consistency. Alignment is what makes identity real. Each time you align, your identity hardens. Each time you drift, it weakens. So you must commit fully. Build your life into a reflection of your chosen self. The third step is reinforcement. Identity is not built in a day. It is forged through repetition, through proof, through undeniable evidence. Each time you act consistently, each time you choose discipline, each time you rise above distraction, you reinforce your identity. The more proof you create, the stronger your self-belief becomes. Eventually, it reaches a point where failure cannot shake you because your identity is too strong to be denied. Think of a mountain. Rain may fall, winds may rage, storms may strike, but the mountain remains. Why? Because its foundation is unshakable. That is what identity does for you. When you know who you are, the storms of life cannot move you. You may bend, but you will not break. You may stumble, but you will not fall because your identity anchors you in place. This identity also transforms how others see you. People respect consistency. They admire discipline, and they are drawn to strength. When your identity radiates those qualities, it becomes undeniable. You don't have to announce who you are. Your presence communicates it. Your results prove it. Your calm, steady confidence reveals it, and the world responds to it. Opportunities open, respect grows, influence expands, all because you chose to build an identity that cannot be shaken. But there is another level beyond respect, peace. When you live aligned with your chosen identity, you no longer live in conflict with yourself. You don't wrestle with hesitation. You don't waste energy debating whether or not you will act. You act because it is who you are. This removes doubt, removes stress, removes hesitation. You move through life with clarity, with certainty, with peace. That is freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom of knowing exactly who you are and living it fully. Identity is not just for today. It is your legacy. Long after you are gone, people will remember not just what you did, but who you were. Did you live as a man of discipline? Did you embody consistency? Did you radiate strength and stoicism? That is what endures. That is what defines you in the minds of others. And more importantly, that is what shapes the destiny you leave behind. So ask yourself, who am I choosing to be? Not tomorrow, not when it's easy, not when the world gives me comfort. Who am I choosing to be every day in the quiet, in the unseen moments, in the difficult hours? That choice is everything. Because once you choose, and once you align, and once you reinforce it daily, you create an identity that cannot be broken. This is the highest level of power. To become the man who no longer needs motivation because his identity carries him. To become the man who no longer negotiates with himself because his standards are absolute. To become the man whose very existence is discipline, whose every action is consistency, whose every step is purpose. Declare it now, speak it, write it, live it, and comment it right here. I am discipline, I am consistency, I am unshakable. Etch those words into your identity because that is who you are becoming. And once your identity is unbreakable, everything in life aligns. Success becomes inevitable, power becomes natural, destiny becomes yours. The path to legacy and influence, identity forged in discipline and consistency, does not end with you. It radiates outward, shaping the world around you. This is how legacy is born.
Legacy is not about wealth alone or status or fame. Legacy is about impact. It is about the imprint you leave on people, on systems, on the fabric of life itself. And that imprint comes from consistency. Because only what is repeated endures. The man who is disciplined daily builds more than results. He builds influence. Others look to him not because he demands it, but because he embodies strength. His presence carries weight. His words are trusted because his actions prove them true. That is the foundation of influence. When your life itself becomes evidence of what you speak, understand this. Influence is not manipulation. It is inspiration through demonstration. People follow consistency because it is rare. They admire it because they know how difficult it is to maintain. They trust it because they see it endure over time. When you live consistently, you show others what is possible. You become a mirror, a reminder, a standard. And in doing so, you shift the lives of those around you. Legacy begins in the small things, in how you carry yourself daily, in how you treat people with steadiness, in how you uphold your own standards even when no one is watching. Every act reinforces not just your identity but the message you leave behind. Think about it. The men we admire most in history, leaders, philosophers, builders, creators, they are remembered because their consistency produced results that outlived them. Their habits became monuments. Their choices became echoes that continue to inspire centuries later. This is the path before you. Every disciplined day adds to your legacy. Every consistent choice expands your influence. Every moment of stoic clarity sharpens the mark you will leave on the world. You are not simply living for yourself. You are living to create a chain reaction that will touch lives you may never see. That is the true power of legacy. It reaches beyond time. Influence also creates responsibility. The stronger your presence, the more others will look to you for guidance. And here is where Stoicism matters most, because you do not lead with noise or arrogance, but with calm strength. You remain steady, and in that steadiness, others find direction. You remain consistent, and in that consistency, others find courage. You remain disciplined, and in that discipline, others learn what is possible for themselves. Legacy is not about being worshipped. It is about being remembered as someone who lived with purpose. Influence is not about controlling others. It is about inspiring them to rise through your example. Both are built not in words, but in daily execution. And both are within your reach if you live with unwavering discipline. So let this truth anchor in you. The life you live is the legacy you leave. Your actions today echo into tomorrow. Your habits today build the reputation that will outlive you. If you want to be remembered as strong, live strong. If you want to be remembered as disciplined, live disciplined. If you want to be remembered as consistent, then make consistency your nature. This is the path of power, of legacy, of influence, to live with such steady mastery that the world cannot forget you. Comment this now. My legacy is consistency. Carry it with you. Live it daily. And understand, when consistency is your foundation, your influence will expand naturally and your legacy will endure beyond your lifetime. The call to greatness. This is your moment. All the lessons, all the truths, all the principles lead here to the call of greatness. You've heard about discipline. You've heard about consistency. You've heard about stoicism, mastery, identity, and legacy. But knowledge alone is not enough. Power comes from action, and action repeated daily, relentlessly with purpose. That is what builds greatness. Every man is presented with the same choice: to drift through life, letting the tides carry him wherever they will, or to rise with intention and seize control of his path. The difference between mediocrity and mastery is not chance. It is commitment. It is consistency. It is the decision to stand tall, to live by principle, to remain unshaken when others fold. That is the path of greatness. You will face resistance. There will be days when your body wants comfort, when your mind whispers excuses, when the world tempts you to step off your path. But those are the exact days when consistency matters most. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you remain steady in the face of difficulty, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than circumstance. That proof is priceless. That proof builds the man you are becoming. Greatness is not loud. It does not announce itself. It is forged quietly in the daily decisions no one sees, in the workouts done before dawn, in the books read when others scroll aimlessly, in the hours of focused work that compound into mastery. That is where greatness lives, in the invisible grind that becomes undeniable over time. And here's the truth. Your life is your message, whether you like it or not. You are teaching others how to live by the way you carry yourself. Show them strength. Show them discipline. Show them consistency. Let your life be a reminder that greatness is possible, that power can be built, that peace comes from mastery. That is the highest form of influence, to inspire not through words but through example. So the call is simple. Choose greatness, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Begin today with one act of discipline. Build on it tomorrow. Stack it the next day. Never stop. Over weeks, months, years, that consistency will transform you into someone unrecognizable, stronger, sharper, steadier, someone untouchable. This is the path of Shritham. This is the path we walk, together. Power through consistency, strength through discipline, peace through stoicism, legacy through daily execution. And I will remind you again, comment this right now. I rise through consistency. Write it, claim it, own it. Because once you declare it, you are already stepping into it. If this message resonates with you, if you feel the call, then carry it forward. But don't just carry it, live it. Then make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. Because this is only the beginning. The path of greatness is long, but together, we will walk it step by step, day by day, consistently until everything falls into place.